Hello, hello! Pizza Packs here, and we're back with Commander 2019, deck number 3. This is Faceless Menace, which is the black, green, blue one. So, without further ado, let's get into this. Alright. I don't know why, there's just something so satisfying about ripping into some of the older deck boxes like that. It kind of reminds you of being a kid and opening up your birthday presents or Christmas present or whatever. Anything wrapped up when you're a kid, really. Today we have Kadena, Slinking Sorceress. Or a nice big stand-in card. Love these things. I don't know, there's just something so satisfying about having a giant magic card in your hand. I always wanted to have like a whole deck of oversized cards like this. That would be kind of cool. Alright, this is Faceless Menace. Oh, hey look! Our insert came pre-bent. Nice. Between gravity and the way this was initially packed, that could be how that happened. Alright, so we've got an overview of the deck, Faceless Menace. Overview of the commander rules. Couple ads. On the backside, we have little bios on each of the different commanders. Ooh, Volrath is in here. That's a blast from the past. Volrath, of course, being the big bad in the Wrath cycle. For those of you who who aren't old enough to have your bones hurt yet, the Wrath cycle was Tempest, Stronghold, and Exodus. Let's see. 27 years ago now. Alright. God, that makes me feel old. Every time I think about how long ago certain sets came out. Oh man. Most of the people watching these videos probably weren't even born yet. Which, based on the viewer statistics, is a true statement. Let's pull in. Zoom and refocus. Hey, there we go. Kadena, Slinking Sorceress. Oh, hey, look. Chunks of the thing. Toss those in the trash. Kadena, Slinking Sorceress. One black, green red, or green blue. Man, I'm having trouble with colors the last few days. For a 3/3 legendary Naga Wizard, the first face-down creature spell you cast each turn costs 1 less to cast. By the way, that works with Disguise. So something... A new mechanic working with an older one. Pretty cool. So this, you may want to actually revisit this commander with some of the newer stuff from Outlaws of Thunder Junction. Whenever a face-down creature enters the battlefield under your control, draw a card. Ooh. Oh, that works really well with Cryptic Coat, too. Alright, now we have Rayami, First of the Fallen. 1 black, green, blue for a 5/4 legendary vampire. If a non-token creature would die, exile that card with a blood counter on it instead. As long as an exiled creature card with a blood counter on it has flying. This has flying. The same is true for First Strike, Double Strike, Death Touch, Haste, Hexproof, Indestructible, Lifelink, Menace, Protection, Reach, Trample, and Vigilance. I really wish, instead of enumerating all of the different keywords, they just said, you know, for any given keyword. And then let people fight over what a keyword is. Volrath the Shapeshifter. I was always fond of Volrath. 2 black, green, blue for a 7/5 legendary shapeshifter. At the beginning of combat on your turn, put a -1/-1 counter on up to 1 target creature. For 1, until your next turn, Volrath Shapeshifter, or Shapestealer. That is the Shapestealer, not the Shapeshifter. Just noticed that. Until your next turn, Volrath the Shapestealer becomes a copy of target creature with a counter on it, except it's a 7/5 and has this ability. Ooh. Alright, now I have some tokens. Got Saproling and its Manifest. Saproling, Manifest, Saproling, Morph. We have 3 Assassins. Ooh, I wonder if Vraska's in here. Go along with those with Morphs. Okay. We have some plant tokens. 1/1 plant tokens. Let's see, 2 of them are snakes, and then there's a morph. And we have a Saproling. That's a Manifest. Neat. Next card, Leadership Vacuum, 2 and a blue. Instant. Target player returns each commander they control from the battlefield to the command zone. Draw a card. That's cool. I have never seen this card before, and I like it. Alright. Mire in Misery. 1 and a black sorcery. Each opponent sacrifices a creature or enchantment. Voice of Many. 2 green for a 3/3 elf druid. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card for each opponent controls fewer creatures than you. Alright, so far most of these have been reprints. Or cards that we've already seen in other decks. Scaretiller. 4 mana 1/4 artifact creature Scarecrow. Whenever it becomes tapped, choose one. You may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield tapped, or return target land card from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Very nice. Echoing Truth. My favorite of the Echoings. Although Echoing Decay is pretty cool too. 1 in a blue instant. Return target non-land permanent and all other permanents with the same name as that permanent to their owner's hands. Very nice. Also really good for dealing with tokens, because tokens tend to share the same name. Alright, Reality Shift. 1 in a blue instant. Exile target creature. Its controller manifests the top card of their library. That player puts the top card of their library onto the battlefield face down as a 2/2 creature. If it's a creature card, it can be turned up at any time for its mana cost. Very nice. Tezzeret's Gambit. 3 and a Phyrexian blue sorcery. Draw 2 cards and proliferate. It's a very, very underwhelming divination most of the time, but they can do some cool stuff too. Willbender. Ooh, this is with different art. Ooh, it's kind of cool art too. Let's see. Willbender, 1 in a blue for a 1/2 human wizard with morph, 1 in a blue. When it's turn face up, change the target of target spell or ability with a single target. Keep in mind this gets around split second. Skin Thinner. 1 in a black for 2/1 zombie with morph, 3 black. When it's turn face up, destroy target non-black creature. It can't be regenerated. I will say I like the original art much better than this one. This one's just kind of meh. Doesn't have a whole lot of flavor. Inox Survivalist. 1 in a green for a 2/1 Hound Shaman with Megamorph. It's morph, but mega. 1 in a green. When it's turn face up, destroy target artifact or enchantment an opponent controls. This was a really big card in Khan's block. Along with like Den Protector and the Raptor. Yep. Cultivate. 2 and a green sorcery. Search your library for up to 2 basic land cards. Reveal those cards, put 1 into the battlefield tapped and the other into your hand. Then shuffle your library. Explore. This is what Time Walk is half the time. But 1 in a green, sorcery. You may play an additional land this turn, draw a card. It's almost Time Walk. My vintage playing viewers will get that joke better than most. Farseek, 1 in a green, sorcery. Search a library for a plains, island, swamp, or mountain card and put it onto the battlefield tapped. Then shuffle your library. Keep in mind this gets triomes, this gets duels. As long as it has those card types, you can grab it. Also grabs Bajuka Bog. I've had a few people miss that does that while playing against them. Let's see. Great Oak Guardian, 5 in a green for a 4/5 tree folk with flash and reach. When it enters the battlefield, creatures target player controls get +2/+2 until end of turn. Untap them. Nice. And Tuco Vigilante. 3 in a green for a 3/2 insect druid mutant with morph. 1 in a green. When it's turned face up, destroy target artifact or enchantment. It's a naturalize with a body. Steve! It's Sakura Tribe Elder. 1 in a green for a 1/1 snake shaman. Sacrifice it. Search the library for a basic land. Put it into the battlefield tapped. And then shuffle. Icefeather Aven. Green blue for a 2/2 bird shaman with flying and morph. Green blue. When it's turned face up, you may return another target creature to its owner's hand. Putrefy. 1 black green instant. Destroy target artifact or creature. It can't be regenerated. This was back when regeneration was actually printed on cards. It's from the original Ravnica set. Secret Plans. Green blue enchantment. Face down creatures you control get +0/+1. Whenever a permanent you control is turned face up, draw a card. Sultai Charm. Black, green, blue, instant. Choose 1. Destroy target monocolored creature. Destroy target artifact or enchantment, or draw 2 cards, then discard a card. Little Sultai Charm. Urban Evolution. 3 green, blue, sorcery. Draw 3 cards. You may play an additional land this turn. Always pretty solid. Soul Ring. We all know what this does. 1 mana artifact that taps for 2. Thran Dynamo, 4 mana artifact that taps for 3. Then we have some islands. 1, 2, 3, 4 islands. Kadina's Silencer. 1 in a blue for a 2/1 Naga Wizard. When it's turned face up, counter all abilities your opponents control. Ooh, that's cool. Pretty sure that also hits like Storm and stuff like that, so that's a neat one. And then Megamorph, 1 in a blue. Sudden Substitution. Oh, this card occasionally sees play in Legacy with Hive Mind combo, or well, with any of the pacts really. So you can give your opponent a pact for one of their creatures, and you can force them to lose the game if they can't pay the mana cost. But 2 blue instant with split second, as long as the spell is on the stack, players can't cast spells or activate abilities that aren't mana abilities. So, cool thing about Morph, it doesn't directly use the stack. It's a special game action. Then you exchange control of target non-creature spell and target creature. Then that spell's controller may choose new targets for it. Very nice. Thought Sponge. It's a sponge. 3 in a blue for a 1/1 sponge with flash. Enters the battlefield with a number of +1/+1 counters on it equal to the greatest number of cards an opponent has drawn this turn. When it dies, draw cards equal to its power. Nice. Gift of Doom. 4 in a black for an enchantment aura. Enchant creature. Enchanted creature has death touch and indestructible. Morph. Sacrifice another creature. As Gift of Doom is turned face up, you You may attach it to a creature. So this is an enchantment that you can use to give a creature death touch and indestructible. Okay. That's really cool, but also very silly. Thieving Amalgam. 5 black for a 6/7 ape snake. It's an ape snake. It's a cyber ape snake. At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, you may manifest the top card of that player's library. Whenever a creature you control but don't own dies, its controller loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. So that'd be a fun reanimate target sometime. Apex Altasaur. 7 green for a 10/10 dinosaur. When it enters the battlefield, it fights up to 1 target creature you don't control. Enrage. Whenever it is dealt damage, it fights up to 1 target creature you don't control. Hey! This dinosaur came here looking for a fight, and it's gonna get one. Road of Return. Green sorcery. Choose 1. Return target permanent card from your graveyard to your hand. Or put your commander into your hand from the command zone, and then entwine for 2. Neat. Commander go down the hole. Grismold, the Dread Sower. 1 black-green for a 3/3 legendary Troll Shaman. He just be trolling. With Trample, at the beginning of your end step, each player creates a 1/1 green plant creature token. Whenever a creature token dies, put a +1/+1 counter on Grismold, the Dread Sower. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Pendant of Prosperity. 3 mana artifact. When it enters the battlefield under the control of an opponent of your choice. 2 tap, draw a card. Then you may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. Pendant of Prosperity's owner draws a card, and then that player may put a land card from their hand onto the battlefield. Oh, so it's kind of a group hug mechanic. That's pretty cool. Scroll of Fate. 3 mana artifact. Tap, manifest a card from your hand. Well, isn't that neat? That works especially well with morph creatures. Ghastly Conscription. 5 black, sorcery. Exile all cards from target player's graveyard in a face-down pile. Shuffle that pile, then manifest those cards. Oh, that's rude. Okay. Deathmist Raptor. Hey, this is the raptor I was talking about. 1 green for a 3/3 for a 3/3 dinosaur beast. It is not legendary. Does have death touch though. Whenever a permanent you control is turned face up, you may return Deathmist Raptor from your graveyard to the battlefield, face up or face down. Megamorph, 4 and a green. Hooded Hydra. X green for 0/0 Snake Hydra. Enters the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters on it. When it dies, create a 1/1 green snake creature token for each +1/+1 counter on it. Morph, 3 and a green. And as it's turned face up, put 5 +1/+1 counters on it. Nice. Vraska, the Unseen. Hey, this is the Vraska that makes the Assassins. 3 black-green for a 5 loyalty legendary planeswalker Vraska. +1 untap until your next turn. Whenever a creature deals combat damage to Vraska, the Unseen, destroy that creature. -3, destroy target non-land permanent. -7, create 3 1/1 black assassin creature tokens with whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, that player loses the game. Nice. Chromeshell Crab, 4 and blue for a 3/3 crab beast with morph, 4 and a blue. When it's turned face up, you may exchange control of target creature you control and target creature an opponent controls. So, good for swapping that 1/1 for, say, cool. Cool. Ixodron. 3 blue for an XX illusion. As it enters the battlefield, turn all other non-token creatures face down. Ixodron's power and toughness are equal to the number of face-down creatures on the battlefield. This card is so much fun to just mess with people, although it is a little cumbersome. Karu's Spell Snatcher. 3 and a blue for a 3/3 Naga Wizard with Morph, 4 blue. When it's turned face up, counter target spell. If that spell is countered this way, exile it instead of putting it into its owner's graveyard. You may cast that card without paying its mana cost for as long as it remains exiled. A lot of fun there. Stratus Dancer, another card that saw a heck of a lot of play in Khan's block, but 1 and a blue for a 2/1 Zhen Monk with flying and Megamorph, 1 and a blue. When it's turned face up, counter target instant or sorcery spell. Fun card that gets forgotten about quite a bit. Thousand Winds, 4 blue for a 5/6 elemental with flying and morph, 5 blue. When it's turned face up, return all other tapped creatures to their owner's hand. Very cool. Vesuvian Shapeshifter. 3 blue for a 0/0 Shapeshifter. As it enters the battlefield or is turned face up, you may choose another creature on the battlefield. If you do, until Vesuvian Shapeshifter is turned face down, it becomes a copy of that creature. Except that it has, at the beginning of your upkeep, you may turn this creature face down. Morph, 1 and a blue. So this card was originally printed in, I believe it was Time Spiral. There was a lot of fun with another card called Brine Elemental, where you could basically stop your opponents from ever untapping again. Bane of the Living. Another really fun card. It's for 2 black, you get a 4/3 insect with morph X black. When it's turned face up, all creatures get -X until end of turn. Very nice. Grim Haruspex. Man, it's just a lot of fun cards from around Khan's block. But 2 and a black for a 3/2 human wizard with morph for a black. Whenever another non-token creature you control dies, draw a card. Hex from the original Ravnica. This is one of the most confusing removal spells ever printed because most people don't realize you must have exactly 6 targets. Otherwise, this does not work. But for black, sorcery, destroy 6 target creatures. But killing 5 just isn't enough. Silumgar Assassin. 1 and a black for a 2/1 human assassin. Creatures with power greater than Silumgar Assassin's power can't block it. Megamorph. 2 and a black. When it is turned face up, destroy target creature with power 3 or less an opponent controls. Very nice. Den Protector. This is one of my favorite morph creatures of all time. 1 and a green for a 2/1 human warrior. Creatures with power less than Den Protector's power can't block it. And Megamorph, 1 and a green. When it's turned face up, return target card from your graveyard to your hand. So 2 Den Protectors and any number of Deathmist Raptors. Hilarious. Because you just keep bringing back those raptors. And it is very difficult to deal with. Because as long as you have 5 mana, there's not a whole lot your opponents can do about it. Overwhelming Stampede. 3 green sorcery. Until end of turn, creatures you control gain trample and +X/+X. Where X is the greatest power among creatures you control. Nice. Seedborn Muse. 3 green for a 2/4 spirit. Untap all permanents you control during each other player's untap step. I remember when this was first printed back in Legions. So much fun with this card. Tempt with Discovery. 3 and a green, sorcery, tempting offer. Search the library for a land card and put it on the battlefield. Each opponent may search the library for a land card and put it on the battlefield. For each opponent who searches their library this way, search the library for a land card and put it on the battlefield. Then each player who searched their library this way shuffles it. So you get to search the library for a land. Then each opponent may also do the same. For each of those opponents, you get to do it again. So you can get 1 land, you can get 4 lands. You don't know until until your opponents make their choices. You hope it's at least, you know, 1, because this is a very good card if you get 2 lands out of it. Anything more is just gravy, but, you know, it's good. Another card from the Time Spiral. A lot of fun. Thelanite Hermit. 3 and a green, or 1/1, Elf Shaman. All saplings get +1/+1. Morph, 3 green. Let's turn face up, create 4 1/1 green sapling creature tokens. This is meant to be a kind of shifted version of Deranged Hermit, except that made squirrels. Trail of Mystery. 1 and a green, enchantment. Whenever a face-down creature enters the battlefield under your control, you may search your library for a basic land, put it on the battlefield, or reveal it, put it into your hand, and then shuffle your library. Now, if you put it on the battlefield, that would be nuts. It just puts it in your hand. Whenever a permanent you control is turned face up, if it's a creature, it gains +2/+2 until end of turn. It's just a fun card if you're doing a lot of morph, or megamorph, or disguise, or manifest, any of those things. Biomass Mutation, X, and then 2 hybrid green-blue. Instant. Creatures you control have base power and toughness XX until end of turn. Very nice. It's a mirror entity as a spell, basically. Bounty of the Luxa. This was a fun one back in Amonkhet / Hour of Devastation. I'm pretty sure this one was an Amonkhet, though. 2 green-blue enchantment. At the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, remove all flood counters from Bounty of the Luxa. If no counters are removed this way, put a flood counter on it and draw a card. Otherwise, add colorless green-blue to your mana. Sagu Mauler. 4 green-blue for a 6/6 beast with trample and hexproof. Morph 3 green-blue. That's it. Just vanilla. Well, it's not vanilla. It's a trample hexproof 6/6 that you can cheat in a turn early off morph. Strionic Resonator. 2-mana artifact, 2 and tap, copy target triggered ability you control. You may choose new targets for the copy. There are a lot of things that this combos with. Fortunately, none of them are really coming to mind at the moment. Alright, Darkwater Catacombs filters 1 mana of any color into blue-black. Exotic Orchard taps for the colors that your opponent's lands can tap for. Llanowar Waste, hey, this is actually back in standard. It's the black-green pain land, taps for colorless, taps for black or green, and deals 1 damage to you. Shrine of the Forsaken Gods. That's a fun one. It taps for colorless, and then taps for 2 colorless that you can spend only to cast colorless spells. But you can activate it only if you control 7 or more lands. This is sort of the fixed version of Eldrazi Temple, basically. Sunken Hollow, Island Swamp that enters tapped unless you control 2 or more basic lands. Thespian's... Hey, there's a Thespian Stage in here. Thespian Sage. This is half of the Dark Depths combo. Taps for colorless, and then 2 and tap it. It becomes a copy of target land, except it has this ability. You can also use this to make a never-ending Urza Saga, if you want to. Yavimaya Coast, also back in standard. Taps for colorless, and then taps for a green or a blue, and deals 1 damage to you. Very nice. Now we have some basics. Island, so we had 4 earlier. So I guess there's 5 islands in this deck. With some swamps. 1, 2, 3 swamps, and some forests. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 forests. Ash Barrens, which is always nice. Vijuka Bog, one of the best utility lands ever created. Enters the battlefield tapped. And I just noticed this isn't also a swamp, so no, you cannot fetch it off of Farseek. I was speaking out of my butt on that by misremembering that this was a swamp. It is not, in fact, a swamp. Enters tapped. When it enters the battlefield, exile all cards from target player's graveyard and taps for black. Very nice. Command Tower. Taps for your commander's color identity. Dimir Aqueduct. It is the blue-black Karu. Enters tapped. When it enters, you return a land card you control to its owner's hand, and then taps for blue-black. Evolving Wilds searches for a basic, with Zenderblade tapped, shuffle. Foul Orchard enters tapped, taps for green or blue, or green or black. Golgari Guildgate, it's a gate that enters tapped and taps for green or black. Golgari Rot Farm, it is the green-black Karu, enters tapped. When it enters, you return a land and taps for green-black. River Hollow enters tapped, you gain a life, and then taps for green or black. Mirrored Landscape enters tapped, taps for colorless, and then for 2, tap and sacrifice it. Search your library for up to 2 basic land cards that share a land type, put them on the battlefield tapped, then shuffle your library. Keep in mind, this does not get waste. Waste is not a land type. It is a basic land, but it is not a land type. Opulent Palace. It is the Sultai Shard land. Enters tapped and then taps for black, green, or blue. Very nice. Reliquary Tower. You have no maximum hand size. Tap for colorless. That's it. You have no maximum hand size and taps for colorless. I'm so used to cards being a mountain of text, but when there are reasonably designed cards, my brain wants there to be more text. Simic Growth Chamber, it is the blue-green Karu. Enters tapped. When it comes in, you bounce a land, and then it taps for a green and a blue. Simic Guildgate, it is the green-blue Guildgate. Gate enters tapped, taps for green-blue. Temple of the False God. Probably should not be running this in your deck, but tap to add 2 colorless, activate only if you control 5 or more lands. Terramorphic Expanse, it is the functional equivalent of Evolving Wilds. Tap and sacrifice it to search your library for a basic land, put it on the battlefield tapped, and then shuffle your library. Thornwood Falls, enters tapped, you gain a life, and then taps for green or blue. Woodland Stream, enters tapped, taps for green or blue. And then we have an ad card. Alright, well, thank you for joining me on this adventure. As always, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff for the algorithm. It really helps out. It helps me bring you more of these videos. So, yeah. Until next time, stay awesome. We'll see you in the next one. Thanks. Bye.